So I was just reading your bio here, Bira. It says you've gone through the entire cycles of Bhakti, Gyan, and Karma Yoga, and you've seen what you've asked for and received the grace to keep doing what you're doing. Your journey is only beginning, but you have found the answers to your personal questions in life. And are you still currently living in Spain?
No,
You
I
moved.
left. No. How many years? 2014 I left. 14. Yes.
So tell me what it means to
I can explain each word of what you just read. What you just read now, when I say the entire cycles. Well, for me, when I started interested in yoga, 99, the year 2000, I had my very good job in Miami Beach. I was a hotel manager. I had the dream, but very empty inside, very unhappy. Drinking, drugs, the whole movie I went through. And then I decided to do something, or I change or I will die. And this is how I came to yoga. Each person comes to yoga for different reasons. I went to yoga to find peace of mind and to understand my life, actually. This was what I wanted, I wanted to understand who am I, what am I doing here, why everything is shit, why, all this. This is why I came to yoga. I was already studying other spiritual paths, other traditions, and it came to me the book of Paramahansa Yogananda, Autobiography of a Yogi. I saw this book in the street in a book fair. Then I read the book and I said, that's it. So now I know what yoga is. I didn't know anything about teacher training, about nothing. And then how I'm going to learn this now? I was there in the US, where you live. And I did some research, but I said, but man, yoga started in India 10,000 years ago. So I go there, I quit my job, and I just moved with my backpack. I went there. And I went to Rishikesh, the famous yoga capital. And for me, yoga has always been about a spiritual practice, And I am very surprised that many years later I saw so many people come to yoga for totally different reasons, different things, to get fit, to do something different, very different. But then I began learning. I went to a monastery and I asked, who is the big monk here?
You were looking for a Yogananda type character.
I had the illusion, I had the idealization of, because the book, Yogananda is very romantic, He writes very beautifully and poetically. And I had this innocence that is what is going to happen. I will go there, I will find the enlightened person, and he will enlighten me. And then I went there, I met a Swami from Canada, big man, and he told me, what are you doing here? I told him, Swami, my life is a mess. I don't know what to do. I am lost. I'm lost. You see, I had a good job. I have my apartment, my car, everything, and I'm not happy. What I do? And then the Swami looked at me and he said, okay. He took a paper, he wrote something in the paper and gave me. He said, buy this book and come back tomorrow, same time. And the book was written Bhagavad Gita. I didn't know what it was. So, okay, then I bought, And I stay 2 months visiting this man every day. And he will talk to me about spirituality, about what it is, no? About how to do. And there is always an internal work happening, because when we go, if you go to India for the first time, we have so many ideological, we create an image of what spiritual life is, what yoga is, and it's different, it's very different. In the same time, during this period, I met another monk in another place. And if you are familiar with this Yogananda, and he teaches one meditation technique called Kriya Yoga. And everybody talks Kriya Yoga. He talks, he's the best, it will get enlightened, and you do it. And I wanted to learn this technique because I thought this was the solution to my life. And I met this Swami, old man, and usually I observe the person, no? How he looks, how he walks, how he talks to people, no? That is what I look. It's not so much what he says, because many people can talk very beautiful, but they really don't have that thing inside. And this man, he had a lot of people with him. I felt, wow, this man is a nice person. This man have some content. And I went to talk to him. This was 2 months in India, in the year 2000. And then this man told, I came to him and I said, please, sir, teach me Kriya Yoga. I want to be initiated in Kriya Yoga with you. And he looked at me and he said, huh? What is this? I said, Swami, the technique of Yogananda, of wow, no? That in the USA is so famous. Everybody do, you don't know? He said, no, I just sit here and think about God and I am happy. And he broke me when he said that, no? Immediately he broke me. He said, I don't know any name. I just sit here. And then he broke me and he also caught me. And I spent some time with this man. And then I realized that the authentic yoga, the real yoga, thousands of years old, is very simple. You see, and it's very hard at the same time. It's difficult to recognize, to see, because we in the West, we have this idea that for us, it must be the best. No, if it's not the best in the world, we don't want. No, and then, but we never find. Then we are always looking, trying to find, and it's never good enough to us. And then we try 1,000 new techniques. We learn millions of positions, all the Sanskrit names, the whole thing. We read 100 books, and it's still empty. But I need to make the story short. I stayed 8 months, my first visit to India. And the money was finishing, and at the same time, it was too strong for the mind, no? You cannot force too much because we go mad. It's true.
Explain that. Just forcing too many new ideas, or?
Okay. Because first, I think it's very important to have clear what yoga is, why it existed, and what it does. Yoga is a science 10,000 years old, devoted to explain to yourself who you are. That's it. If you go to the yoga studio and you put 2 feet behind your neck and you are very flexible and charming and beautiful and you practice 10 years, but you still don't know who you are, you still have fears, you still have trauma, you still are insecure, you waste your time. It's a waste of time. You see? Now, if you cannot touch your feet or your knees, no, many people, if you are not flexible, but you are able to sit in silence and be quiet and just listen, the absolute silence of your mind, you are a yogi. You see, you are doing it because that is the goal. Physical posture, Hatha Yoga, came much later and is just a complementary tool. We are already entering another subject now, no? We are already discussing. Hello? Yeah, okay. Is already trying to understand what is happening with yoga in the world today, in my vision, no? The way how it happened to me. But then, what I was saying, if you want to learn yoga, and then first you have to know what yoga is, what it teaches, what is the goal, the main goal of practicing what they teach. And then you know what it is this, is to free my soul from insecurity, from pain. You will always have pain, but you will have knowledge. You have knowledge and you have love, and then you suffer because of your love. But you have knowledge, so it's fine, you are content. You see, in the end, not even happiness is important. It's important to be in peace, to understand. But this is our process, and then you have to see, okay, what we have to do. And then the people go, and is everything in the Yoga Sutras is true. Okay, the Yoga Sutras explain exactly what are the steps. But then you have so many people who memorize the Yoga Sutras, who teach, who give a diploma, but they are not doing what is written there. This is because we have the intellectual understanding, that I understand what you are saying, but we also have the existential, no? That you actually happen to you. It is your life.
The experience kind of informs the knowledge.
Exactly. You don't even know the name of the word of what you are feeling. You don't know what it is, but you are certain. And this is the problem that I see. This is the obstacle, the challenge, is that you read Yoga Sutras, Yama, Niyama. Okay, don't steal, don't say the truth, no, don't be greedy. Okay, you go through this, but are you really doing it? And this is the big difference that I found, because when I wanted to learn and I went to find a teacher, first thing I decided, I don't want a famous teacher. I don't want somebody who is famous, who have all these nice people with yoga mats around him in this big yoga hall. No, I want to find somebody who is anonymous, who don't, simple. Because this is what I was thinking. Okay, simplicity is the spiritual path. So let's go, because I don't know if you are familiar in this place there in India. It's a spiritual market, no? You have one yoga studio every 10 meters. Everybody is enlightened there. It's so funny. So everybody's guru.
You can shop around for your spiritual teachers and get different techniques, all that.
Everybody is enlightened. Everybody will tell you the truth. But then I went outside the city. I went outside. Let's go to the village. Let's go somewhere. But also, because if you really want to be a yogi, but in the real sense of the word, because today the word yogi is a bit distorted also. See, that is another thing to understand. We created something that didn't exist before. We created the yoga teacher. This difference didn't exist before. To be a teacher, you must be a yogi. You see? And if the goal of yoga is clarity, is the liberation of your spirit, is to understand your existence, but you still don't have this experience, how can you teach? You understand? How can you teach something that you don't know? But this is happening.
I would say that that's fairly common.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably in the majority of cases, there is some conversation around this in the healer community about, a form of codependency. Like someone wants to feel better, so they try to help people, but maybe that doesn't mean that they're well when they're trying to help people.
Wow, now you said the truth. It's true. Many people, these people who do healing, who do Reiki, who do this, because we are already entering the other subject about the situation of yoga today in the West. People have problems, and then they say, okay, my life, I don't know what to do with my life, so I am going to be a yoga teacher. This is the most wrong way to approach yoga as possible. Nothing can be worse. But let me come back. Again, I was explaining about the yoga journey and about how to be a yogi in my understanding, and how to do it. And then I was saying, first you know what it is. You know what is the goal. And then, second, then you look how to do it. And then you will see that the path is already written. It is done already. There are millions of people who already did the path. From ignorance, from confusion, from selfishness, all the way to absolute clarity. You see, 2 points, completely confused and lost. And the other point, completely secure and clear. The mind is clear, I am confident, I know who I am, I know where I came from, I know where I am going, and I know what I must be doing right now. This is so important. This is the treasure. This is the only reason why yoga came to this planet.
Where does the knowledge of where you're going, like your vocation, your dharma, do you think that knowledge is written in your soul and it just kind of happens, or what's your take on that?
It is written in front of your nose.
Okay.
It is, because you already choose it before.
Okay.
Because it's a natural consequence of being who you are. See, it's not a destiny. It's not predetermined, but it's you who is doing it. It's you. If you work in anything you do, if you are a fisherman and you work fishing 30 years, 50 years, you are a fisherman. You know how to do it. You see, it's natural to you. Don't think about it. So your future is predictable. You already know what is going to happen because you know who you are. And in yoga is the same. The path is this. But then how to find this clarity of mind, how to get to this point, is everything written in the Yoga Sutras. I will give you now a tip. Big. You have in the Yoga Sutras the 8 limbs of Patanjali. Yamas, which are the how they say, how to behave with others. Is like all commandments of how to be decent. And then you have the niyamas, how to behave with yourself. Then you have Asana, position, take care of your body, eat well. Pranayama, your breath, how to breathe, how to be self-aware of prana. And then comes the fifth one, which is Pratyahara. And Pratyahara, for me, is the most important and the most difficult. And it is where everybody gets stuck. Because it talks about the senses of hearing, of seeing, of tasting, touching. The 5 senses. It says that the yogi must control the senses. And they say you have to hear good things, positive things. You have to see good things that elevate you. You have to, then comes the mouth, to talk only good positive things. Your touch. And this is the most difficult discipline of all, that 98% of the people who practice yoga don't do. And why this is so important? Because if you control, if you collect, if you are very careful about how you use your 5 senses, what you hear, what you see, what you speak, where you go, what is your friends, who are your friends, how you spend your energy. If you start putting attention on this, all this energy that is used, is inverted, goes inside. All this energy goes to your heart, to your brain. You become so sharp, so awake, so alert. And this is why it's so important silence. It's so important a period in the life of a yogi to retire, to retreat, to go outside the world. This is why the monks go to live in the mountains, to stay alone. 1 year, 2 years, 5, 10 years.
I read your biography, and you had done this for a time. Didn't you stay in a cave?
No, more or less.
Isolated.
How can I say? Because this is so important. If the people who can listen to us and is interested, really interested to go deep and to be a yogi, there is this word tapas. Tapas, austerity, is essential. You must dedicate time of your life to do tapas. That means you have to find a hut in the mountain, anywhere you are. You have to create the conditions around you where you can stay alone with good company, which I mean good reading, knowledge, jnana. But this is a very difficult austerity, because if you try to stay alone 2 days, 3 days, your mind gets so loud. It's very difficult because we have so much garbage, so much conditioning, so much ideas of how everything is. And this is all noise. This is pollution. And this has to go. And that is why if someone is willing to really do serious tapas, if someone really wants to clean my mind, clean my heart, and understand a bigger picture, this period of solitude is important, no exceptions. That is why today you have yoga teacher famous teaching 20 years, 30 years, but you still have the same problem. You still have the same, it's not done. And it will never be until they do what is written in the Yoga Sutra, until you do what you teach. You see? And then why is complicated? Because we have to be gentle with ourselves also. You see? Okay, I want to understand, I want to awake, I want to open. And then I find this nice place in the mountain. I go with my tent. I get my spaghetti, my whatever I have, no? And you go 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And observe the mind. That is why I say you go crazy, you go nuts. Because there is so much in the mind, so much, and you still don't have a guiding light. You still don't know. You need something to hold, an anchor to hold. And then you hold this anchor and you say, so I'm okay. That's who I am. No, you are learning who you are. When you do tapas, what happens is the box of your unconscious is open. And I did this. I found this teacher and I begged him, let me live with you in the mountain, in this place. But it was very hard. Because some days you wake up and you remember what happened when you were 3 years old. When you were a child and your mother took your teddy bear and put in the dishwasher and you remember those things and you feel so much pain. It's so real, but you are already 30-year-old or whatever. All these memories come back when you do tapas. And the job of the yogi is to understand every single thought, to forgive whatever you are remembering, and to forget. Understand? Forgive, forget. Because then it becomes nothing. It doesn't come back to you anymore. The more you practice, through years, every time you have a chance, the bigger is the moments of silence in your mind. And that is why you go, stay 3-4 days, come back to your work, to your things, to your life. And then you go again, stay 2 weeks, come back. Every time you go, you stay longer. You see? And if you can stay 1 month, 2 months, India is good for this because it's cheap. For us, this is a blessing because you can live in India with $200 per month, 3. And this is one advantage. Another thing that nobody does, you have to step out of your comfort zone. No, you have to leave your conditioning. You have to be in a place where nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares who you are. If they don't speak your language, it's even better. Because they will just look at you and see the person. They will see a person, look at your eye, they will see the eye, and that's it. This is very good. This is a blessing because then you will start to understand. One of the biggest realizations I had in this time, it was that 80% of my problems that I thought I had, they were not mine. They were from my parents.
You mean the conditioning your parents put on you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The expectations and such.
The whole movie, the whole package. Parents, grandparents, brother, sister, the country, the neighbor, the politics, everything. But we don't realize this because we are on it. We are inside.
Which is why stepping outside of your comfort zone. Okay.
Perfect. But nothing I am saying is forever also, no? I will say a person wants to be a yogi. Okay, first thing, the goal is to know who you are. That's it. It's not to be flexible. It's not to have disciple. You see, it's not to have a studio. No, it's to know who you are. That is why yoga exists. The positions of Hatha Yoga, Asana, they are the perfect tool to help you understand who you are. But they will never be the goal. And this is the problem with yoga today. And then, what I have to do? I come back to the restraint of the senses, no pratyahara, the fifth limb. It's like, be very careful what you hear. You understand? Even music, even my music, I change it. The music I liked before, I stopped hearing. Actually, for many years, I didn't listen to music. What people say, you see, stop it. News, whatever. Preserve your energy, what you look, what you see, and most important, what you talk. No? Because the tongue is the bridge between the heart and the mind. No? The tongue is in the middle. The throat is in the middle. So you speak what you have in your mind. And if your mind has confusion, obviously what you speak cannot be trusted. But who knows? Not even you know. So that is the whole... Wait, now? No, because here. So this is for me how the yogic path is. I don't like teacher trainings because it's not true.
Well, let's go back and finish the original thrust of this conversation. You said the fifth limb was controlling the senses, and that's a challenge for many people.
Yes.
Is the tapas specifically to help with that, or the austerities to help control the senses? Or yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. It's exactly what I am telling you right now. You have to change your whole life. You have to change where you go, what you do. Sometimes you even have to change your job. Sometimes you need to leave your partner, your husband, wife. You see, that is why it's so hard. Because how is that? Yoga Sutras, the most respected scripture on yoga. It describes complete ignorance, confusion, and how to go to complete clarity. This is the journey. How Patanjali can do this in only 8 steps? So the first 3 is where everybody got stuck. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, 4. Everybody's there. You see, everybody looks beautiful, flexible, no, doing good, eating vegan.
I would say even pranayama, the fourth limb, that's pretty esoteric for people. So for someone to be that far is kind of far out in like the regular yoga scene.
Exactly. So what I will give the most practical advice of how to do this is what I am telling you. The person needs to eliminate everything that makes noise. But this is difficult and it's hard because you have to be very watchful of yourself that you don't become a paranoid person. You don't become a person antisocial. You see? That you cannot stay with other people. This happened to me, it happened. Because you get so much into your world that you can get in a trap. You can be in a circular movement in your head. There are community places where I live, the hermits, some hippies that go to the mountain and they live there 25 years in the mountain, but they cannot talk to other people.
Yeah, you kind of isolate yourself that you can't even relate to your society or culture anymore. Which, I mean, part of the path is to break all that conditioning.
Exactly.
Right.
So this is the limit. This is when you know that it's time to go back. For me, what happened, I was doing this outside. I was going to this, staying in a hut alone, and then I will wake up 5 in the morning, meditate 3 hours. Then I will eat rice and potato. I will read the Yoga Sutras, the Bhagavad Gita. I will do asana, meditate again at 5 in the afternoon, eat and sleep. I did this for 5 months.
Oh, wow.
Very hard, very hard. How much suffering I went through. I just did because I have this Swami, this monk. He will look at me and he will, okay, I will talk, and he, okay. But then he told me to go to the city to buy food. And then I took the bus and I went down to the city. And when I got in the city, I just couldn't be close to other people, to other Westerners. No, all the people who are the seekers, they are out there. And I will eat and I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to look at them. This is when I realized something is wrong. Something is not right. You need to find a balance.
Well, do you think when you're in that actual path of breaking through or ascending the various limbs of the, Patanjali's yoga path, do you think that, there is a place to be out of place within that path because you're kind of going inward to figure out what you are, and then hopefully once you find that jewel, you can come back into society and be of service.
Yes, but in my case, it has to be gradual.
Okay.
It has to be. It depends how much trouble you have. It depends how confused you are.
Yeah.
See, how big is your problem? In my case, I realized that, no, like this cannot be. And then what I did? Then I moved back to the city. I forced myself to be close to other people.
To reintegrate?
Or at least to understand them. No? Because at least to stop judging them.
Yeah.
To feel more or less comfortable. And then, after 2-3 months with people again, I said, okay, I was right. So now I go back to the mountain. Yes, but I did. You see, that is the whole point. It's for you to find a balance. It's to be in the world without belonging to the world. No? This is Krishna said. To be in the world without being of the world.
And that's a Christian talking point as well, a teaching.
It's true.
Did you want to go up to the 6th, 7th, and 8th limbs?
Of Yoga Sutra?
Yeah. You started going through 1 through 3, 4, 5. You just want to go through that progression?
No,
I'd be interested
actually,
to hear.
What happens is when you get to the 5th, when you get to the point of strong tapas, we say, no? This of the sense and of controlling what you hear, what you see, what you talk, where you go, what you eat. No, when you start doing this, it happens, everything happens. It could be only the 5 steps of Patanjali.
And then everything else goes.
Exactly, because then the mind is clear, the body is strong. You see? And then comes the concentration, meditation, and Samadhi, I don't even talk. The 8 is don't need, only people who don't know talks. But there is another point here also that we are talking about this, how to follow the spiritual path of yoga. In the yoga tradition, no? There is another point important. You have to be in peace, to understand your sexuality also. Because it has there brahmacharya. No, brahmacharya is the restraint, how I say, the proper use of your energies, how you use your energies. And then comes the sexual energy. And for the Western society, sex is very important. It's a big part of our life. So this is another part that we have to look. I was a brahmachari. It means celibacy, no sex, no woman. 4 years, 4 to 5, because I needed to understand myself first. I needed to understand my energy with myself first. See? Now, some people is different. There is a famous story of Osho, the teacher Osho, that people will come to him and will cry the problem and tell all the problems they have to him. And then he will look at the person and say, I think you need some sex. You say, yeah, he will do this, really. You say, I think I will, if he's a guy, you say, I know a nice girl here, I will introduce you to her, you need to let go. And then some other people will come to him and same thing, tell their problems, what is happening in my life, I don't know what to do. And then he will say, I think you should stop having sex for 5 years. Some people need, some people don't. Some people have too much, some people have too little. You see? And for me as a man from South America, it's very important that you become the master of your sexuality. Like we say, you have to be the boss of your genitals, not your genital thinking for you. This is for a man as a yogi very important, that you learn to control your desires, your urges, no, your needs. This is one part important, because the sexual energy is where we get the most power. That is why Tantra came. That is why it's so important. But it's not really all that important. But it's important also, I would say, a person who wishes to go the yoga path seriously and deeply, is important a period alone. If it's a man without girlfriend or without boyfriend, without sexual life, is important. I'm not going to say for how long, each person, but it's so important because you understand who you are on your own. You see, you are free from independent from anything else. You are happy with yourself, with your spirit.
And that goes back to the point of codependency. You don't know who you are when you're codependent on someone to tell you who you are.
Exactly, and it's all this is written in the Yoga Sutras. It's out there, but who does? Again, we come back. Who does? You see, and then what happens if you take this period of solitude, of self? This is strong, because then even my teacher told me when I was living there. Okay, you want to go deep? Okay, so we are going to eat the same food every day for lunch and dinner. Rice, potato, lentils, dal, and that's it.
Like a khichdi type dish.
Yeah, khichdi for lunch and dinner. Khichdi for lunch and dinner. And once a week, no salt in the food. You're going to eat without salt. They say, but why? They say, because the tongue is connected to the sexual organ. You indulge in sexual thoughts through the tongue. And if you control your palate, the taste
buds, yeah.
If you are able to eat any food, of course, healthy, clean food, but you eat this food because you need to keep your body strong. You don't eat because it's tasty, because it's good. This is a very high discipline. If you learn to control your tongue, it does miracle in the life. It's true. You see, because we only eat what we like, what is yummy, what is nice, what is tasty, we eat. But there are certain food who is very healthy, very strong, but it has no taste. So we don't like. And then imagine if you eat this food every day. You go crazy. Your mind, you go far. So you do a little bit, you push yourself a little bit, but you relax. You see, you cannot push too much because you have to respect your limitations at the same time. You see, if you are too hard with yourself, you will get hurt and you will not reach the goal.
That's an important point to make.
See, very important. Oh, this is what Buddha did, the story of Buddha, that he left the palace and he spent 9 years meditating and he almost died because he said, I will do it. He lost weight, he was only bone, he was dying. No, that is famous story. And then he realized, no, the midway. I cannot be so hard with myself because if my body dies, I didn't realize anything. So I am describing the same thing. So every yogi goes through the same path. Everybody goes through the same path and there are steps. You see?
Everything you were saying perfectly aligned with what happened to me. And
exactly.
It's like an archetypical pattern that happens. And
it's true. There is nothing new under the sun. It's true. Because the yogis did all this. And that is the fact that yoga is so popular in the world today is predictable. The yogis knew this was going to happen sooner or later. Because you see, you understand. But it is still very superficial. It is still very few people are going deep. Okay? And you don't need necessarily to go to a yoga studio to do it. So those are just to understand the differences, no, of what is a real authentic sadhana, no, the word sadhana, spiritual discipline, and what are the practices. So that is why I stopped in the fifth limb, because this is the most difficult of all, and it can take you 10 years, 20 years in this state. For you to be able to sit, to be alone, for you to be able to be alone for as long as you want, and in peace, is very hard. Very few people can do. That you stay 1 week in the beach house or camping, and you are so in peace, so nice, so cool. This is work. This is not for granted. This is a person who did a lot of laundry before. See, you need to do your laundry to be able to be alone. This is a big...
I'm thinking of the movie The Shining, where he goes off in the mountains and he's with his family and it's fairly isolated and he just kind of loses his cookies just as a joke.
Yeah, but you see, but that is the point. And there are people who do and stay alone like this and get worse. Get worse because it's too much to clean, too many problems. So that is why self-awareness, yoga is the science of self-awareness. It's all about observing what is happening to you and not judging, but you have the power to work on it. You have the power to clean yourself. And for me, this is the most difficult step of all person who are practicing, who want to practice. And from this point of view, when you look at what is happening in yoga today, or when you see a yoga teacher or the students, immediately you know where they are. You see, it's so easy to look at a person and understand where this person is because you went through the path. And also immediately you recognize someone higher than you also, of course. You recognize when somebody did more than you. And for me, this is what I give value. My last travel, now 2 months ago, to Tiruvannamalai to see Ramana Maharshi ashram. I went there. And I met 2 or 3 swamis, yogis. And this is how I give value to the person. Is to see what did you do? What is your austerity? No? What have you been done for the last 20 years? And there are yogis very strong, my friend. There are people who do things you don't believe.
I've definitely heard some stories and read some stories.
Wow. But these people get so clear in the mind. It's true, huh? I met this yogi who spent 30 days buried.
Buried.
He was buried, only the head outside. Really? And there was some shade in his head. And there was somebody, a student, somebody will give him soup and dal. And this man stayed there, can you believe? And then he left this place and he is able to sit. I meditate with this man. Wow. He sits and everything stops. Even your mind stops close to this kind of people. You see, the eye is so shiny, so certain. And then the eye shows the contents of your mind, of your spirit. No? And these people go through so much suffering, because this is suffering, no? It's surrendering, no? To surrender to your ideal. No? Another point of the Yoga Sutras, constant remembrance of the divine. You have to constantly remember something greater than you and which is part of everything. This is another tip now important for the yogi. 24 hours, 25 hours a day, remember. I'm not including with or without religion, no, doesn't matter. You can be materialistic, you can be very scientifical minded, but there is something greater than us and is everywhere. That's it. Connect yourself with this thought, because then you become this thing. And this kind of yogis who are deep in tapas, they have this power in the eye. They may not know how to speak English, or they never went to school. This man is like the language is like an ignorant man, but he's not. And this man, for example, a good teacher, a good yoga teacher, which even makes this difference. There is yogis and there are yoga teachers. But I'm saying a good yoga teacher who is a yogi. He doesn't care about students. It's like, you have to go, please, sir, can I come to your class? You say, maybe tomorrow, not today. They do this. You see, this is another big difference. The best teachers, they don't care. If you come, they say, my teacher said, if you come to me, fine, you come. But if you learn, it's good for you. If you don't learn, I don't care. I just don't care if you don't learn. Because I have the light with me, I have the knowledge. I did my tapas, I did my exercise. So, good things, really good things, are not in the market. You don't find in the street for sale. This is another tip for a yogi, for a spiritual They say spiritual seeker. No, I don't. I prefer to say he's a yogi. A yogi knows that good, what is good, what can give, really gives you good things, is difficult to find. You have to go for it. You have to do research. You have to look 1,000 places until you find one. So all this is part of the spiritual path in yoga, in the yoga tradition. Because after some time, after some years, it all becomes so simple. It becomes so clear, so obvious. That is the word, it's obvious. You look and you cannot deny because it's in your nose. It's so simple. And this is when things starts to get good. This is actually when the path begins. No? They say. There are other teacher I had, well, the same. He would say, life begins after enlightenment. You say the period before is a waste. It's like any other animal. No, you eat, you sleep, you work, you make children, then you work, then you sleep, then you eat. It's true.
I've said it somewhat unfairly. When people are just in that state, and I'm sure there's still aspects of that in me and a lot of people who think they've advanced on the path, but it's like you're not necessarily real just yet. You're not a real human because you're just operating on programming that's not even coming from you. It's like just cultural.
Exactly.
Okay.
This was the vision of this teacher, this man. He lives alone where I was in the mountain. That was how he sees other people. No? He says, look, this is not life. It's like you are not a human being yet. But then from the moment you begin questioning, from the moment you cannot stand anymore your unhappiness, your misery, your desires, when this starts to get unbearable, then yoga begins. This is the beginning of yoga for this person. And then you go through the yogic path, those things we are talking now. And then when it comes to a point where you have emotional stability, very important word, emotional stability, you wake up every day the same person. Sunny day, cloudy day, rainy day, doesn't matter. You wake up the same person. You are positive, you are motivated, and you are helpful. Positive, motivated, helpful, awake. To awake like this every day is work. It's not free, it's not for free. It's work. Because we see this happens many times when you are searching, and then you see the teacher, Moji, very nice person, Moji. You know this teacher?
Yep, I do.
Very nice man. You see this man, he sits there. You think he's doing nothing. No, he's doing nothing. He just laughs, hug people. No, I heard people say, oh, that's easy. He's doing nothing. People give him money. No, my friend, a lot of work to get to this level. A lot of work. And for me, this is all about being a yogi. You see, if you call yourself a yogi and you practice Hatha Yoga, you do all poses 10 years, 20 years, but you still have your little trauma there, you still have your same old garbage. You are doing wrong. You are doing everything wrong. You are missing the point. You see? And then you come back to this point. Nothing is forever. You do this period. There is a period that is hard. The period of austerity, of going to a retreat, or going to the beach, to the mountain, of staying alone, of not having a girlfriend. This is all temporary, my friend. This will go. You see, all that is important is that you wake up every day positive, helpful, motivated, with your mind clear, in peace with who you are. This is what is important. Once you get this for longer and longer periods, then you can do whatever you want. It's true. Then you can go back and go to the bar. You can do whatever you want, if you want. No, also, if you want, you don't do because you don't want. But I will say, then, if you do all this, then you can teach yoga. Now we got to the point. Then you can say, I'm a yoga teacher. You want to come to my class? Do you have certificate? Well, my certificate is you come to my class. You see how it works. So this is a little bit of what is the journey, and yoga changed my life completely. I really found everything that I was looking for. And of course there is more, but at least I am, God loves me, you see. I know God loves me very much. I know that I am important to this planet, to him or her, to it. No? And I know that I have been taken care of, that my life has a meaning and a purpose. So this is enough. You understand?
It's funny. It's funny you say that. And I have read also yogis say that yoga will eventually become like a global phenomena. Like it'll take over people. More and more people will use it. I was just listening to a conversation amongst some Western intellectuals, and one thing they're pointing out, there seems to be a crisis in the West, and they're saying it's a crisis of meaning and purpose. So it's funny that it is the yoga path that can bring that sense of clarity and certainty into people's lives.
So true, so nice what you are saying, totally true. But it's still in the beginning, it's still very superficial. The yogic part. The yoga is all over the world, but it is still in the kindergarten. It is still for children.
Well, what happened to me,
you see?
I was in that suffering path, living alone. I started doing yoga. I just started going to hot power yoga, taught by some 20-something. We'd listen to like pop music. It wasn't typical yoga anything, but I had devoted myself to it. I was fasting. I was doing all these, unbeknownst to me, it was just kind of a natural inclination. And yeah, I was able to experience some of these other states of consciousness that I had no idea about. And some of those things did spin me off in some bizarre directions just in my mind as I observed them and had to like work through them while also going through life. But it was a very infantile form of yoga that I was doing, but it did progress me on the path.
Of course, it's valid. Of course, I'm not saying it's not worth. Any effort you do with sincerity is worth. And like the teacher says, all beginnings are wrong. But you have to begin somehow. See, you have to do the first step. Usually it's wrong, but you did. And then you will find. So that is why the situation in yoga today is very superficial, but it's okay. Because people are in their own time. No, what happens is that the whole responsibility falls on the student. It's not even the teacher, it's the student. The student is responsible to do his homework, to search, to know what is yoga, who are the good teachers, what are the differences, what I want. So, in the end, you have 300 million people practicing, 600 million teachers, more teachers than students. Is this market, is this circus? But in the end, is there. It's okay. You have to find yourself. You have to find who you are in this market. No, it always comes back. Like I said, good things are not in the street for sale. So if you really want to get the treasure that yoga has, you have to do your search. You have to do wrong. No, you have to experience. You have to try.
That's how you
And then
learn, right?
yes, exactly. So nice.
We had
Yeah.
talked earlier. I thought it was very telling of the Indian worldview when you had mentioned to one of these swamis about this 200-hour teacher training, and they scoffed and said, "Should be 200 lifetimes."
It's true.
I thought
It's
that was
true.
funny.
He's a man very. This man, I love him very much. He calls the yoga teachers travel agents.
Travel
He say those
agents.
are all travel agents. Are you get your diploma of travel agent? They said no, he's travel agent. Or he call yoga cheater. Cheater, no yoga cheater.
I mean, bless their hearts. We don't want to offend anyone.
No. But this because there are levels, no? There are different levels. The school yoga really is open. That is true. You see, I am being now, well, this whole conversation critical, but at the same time is permitted. Whatever is happening with yoga in the world today, it has the permission of the masters who created. So if there is all these circles, all this superficiality, is because they gave the permission to be like this. Also, no? There is wisdom behind this. And today you can have the craziest ideas and you call yoga. And you will find people who will follow you. Any garbage you think about, you call yoga, garbage yoga, you will get people. You see, in India is the same. You see, that is the point. That is why everything comes back to the student. It's his or her responsibility to search, to go, to look, to be humble. Humility is so important at the same time. You have humility, but you are not fooled by anyone.
I've been told on this path that discernment,
Discernment,
discerning
exactly.
whether this will help you or not, whether this teacher is more interested in getting followers than helping people. That happens. And actually, you mentioned Osho. There's a lot of controversy around his teaching
Osho
style,
is a bastard.
his own psychology.
So see, for example, even Osho we cannot judge.
Right.
I cannot say he's good, he's bad. He did what he did, something. You see, now I choose. It's not for me, but respect.
Is an expression of life.
Of
That's
what?
all I can say.
Of himself. I don't know.
Right.
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. And it's the same. Today you have people drink. I saw beer yoga. You go to the studio, drink beer, and you do yoga.
I've seen
There
that.
is the other one. You go, you smoke, and then you do. And then you do yoga with a goat, with a cat, with a dog. Now, I am not going to say anything.
Can we talk about the use of cannabis with yoga? That's fairly, now that it's becoming recreational in many states, you do start to see people advertising or kind of promoting the mixing cannabis with your yoga practice, and they often point to the fact that a lot of the sadhus, in the streets of India are smoking cannabis, and it has almost like this spiritual air around it because it is like a semi-meditative or trance-like state. Did your swamis relay anything to you, or do you have any insights you'd like to share on that topic?
Well, I smoked for many years, but I quit smoking for many years already. And the whole point of yoga is freedom, is to be free and to be the master of your mind. But understand what I mean, the whole point is to be free. You are not free because you smoke marijuana. On the contrary, you are not free. You see, anything you include in your yoga practice, which is not you, is already showing that you are not free.
It's an impediment to the practice.
I will not even call impediment. I'm just saying you are not free. You see, if you need an accessory to your mind to feel that you are doing something, you are trapped. The whole point is you and you alone. You and alone, and water. Water and air. And fruit. If you can do with only this, then you are a master. See, I'm not saying it's right, it's wrong, it's good, it's bad. I'm just explaining to you what is the goal. You see? For me personally, to smoke marijuana and practicing asana is a form of entertainment. It's nice, it's cool, you feel good, light, but that's it. It's not work. You see, it's fine, I'm not against it. People do whatever. But you don't need, man. You don't need. That is the beauty. Is you, your mind, alone. Be a master to yourself. Be a light to yourself. You see? Be natural high. Be high with prana. Learn to be high with prana. This is the challenge. Now, because I cannot be judgmental. I can only talk what is for me. For me, it doesn't work. For me, I cannot. And for the swamis, for the teachers I met, never. They cannot. And the sadhus who smoke in India, in the street, who sell, there is always this sadhu, a lot of blonde women with blue eye around them. And the sharas, they smoke. These people, they are in a different path. They are doing something different. And when you want to do something, you will always find 1,000 ways to justify what you do. See, if you want to smoke marijuana in yoga, there is 100 arguments that you can use to say that you can do it. Even Shiva smoked marijuana. In India, you find pictures with Shiva, with the chilum. That is the best excuse.
Yeah, what better reason?
Of course, if God does. Now, if you want to do it, do because you want. You see, say, I want, I like, and that's it. But don't say that this is to open my spiritual eye, to elevate. No. You do because you like. If you want to have a real transcendental experience, natural high, do with your mind. That is the work, no?
I've got a question. You mentioned getting into these transcendental states of building your prana. There are, personally, I'll just speaking from personal experience, I've had times where it feels as if the prana is too high, or there's energetics going on that feel like it's too much to contain. Can you speak, if you have talking points on this, on some of the dangers and ways to mitigate, or if there's some value in any of that?
There is some value, a proper value, not too much. It is my best advice when this happens. Do some gardening, go outside, touch the plants, walk barefoot, ground yourself. This is grounding. No, this is because the energy is too much from the heart up. Too much in the throat of the mind, too much. And then your feet are not strong. No, you can fall in your own legs. No, you fall in your own legs. Because everything can be a form of entertainment. This is true. If you do a lot of meditation, if you do a lot of breathing exercise, you will feel this energy around your hands, around your ears, in your forehead. You will feel. But this doesn't mean anything actually. This is natural. This is who you are. You are a being of energy. So learn to direct, to recycle this energy. If you feel too much with this energy in your head, in your forehead, in your hands, what is it saying to you? It's saying that you need to go to the opposite side now, yin and yang. You need to take all this energy from your head and bring it to the sole of your feet. You see, do asana, then you go to the studio, then you do your asanas. Physical, you need to move, you need to ground yourself, you need to feel yourself in the flesh, in the bone. What I did a lot, gardening, the perfect thing. When I was with my head full of things, when I was feeling all this and everything is vibrating, my head is going to explode. No, I can see through people. I look at people, I know what they are thinking. This is a trap. Get the axe, go dig a hole. No, plant a tree. Make a vegetable garden. Perfect. Because then you are recycling the sun and the earth. Then you are moving from the root chakra to the 10th chakra. More than 7. You see, that is the balance. Too much meditation is not good. Too much asana practice is not good. Too much reading, studying, no good. You see, zero studying also not good. So when you do your practice, when you are studying, when you are doing your sadhana and you feel all this energy inside you, it's time to flow this energy. It's time to let this energy go back to the source, to Mother Earth, because what happens? We are filters of cosmic energy, I say. The energy, prana, the energy comes from the center of the Milky Way directly to the top of your head. Where the baby, when the newborn baby, this area that is soft in the cranium, this is where prana enters, cosmic energy enters. And then it is spread all over your system, to the palm of your hands, to the tip of the fingers, to the heart, everything, and goes down through the sole of your feet, goes to the earth. So this is what you are doing. You are a medium. And yoga is the mastering of this system, the mastering of your energies. See, that is how it works. You learn. A yogi should be able, in one breath, in any situation, whatever is happening to you, what you are doing in your work, in your house, with family, whatever you are doing, and then you feel your mind full. Your mind is busy, a lot of thoughts, a lot of things. A yogi is able, one breath. Inhale. And the mind is absolutely quiet. No effort. Complete silence in one breath. This is the goal, my friend. You see, learn to do this. One breath, one inhalation, and then tell yourself mentally, give yourself an order, a command, with authority. You tell yourself, silence. It's silent. You see, the mind obeys. Another trick.
Yeah, go.
You see, you just inhale and tell yourself, silence. And then the mind is quiet. This is the goal, that you practice this to have these moments of silence longer and longer. Longer and longer. And then after 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you are able to be in complete silence 30 minutes. Enough, huh? Is enough.
Yeah, that is. What about, like I'm able to get the mind quiet from time to time. For a while, I thought something might be wrong with me. It's like, oh,
So this is good.
Is there anything in there?
This is a very good sign.
Okay. What about visuals? Like sometimes I'll find myself getting caught up, not in my thoughts, but in like my visual, like fantasy thoughts. Maybe that's like a sixth chakra thing if you wanted to point to it. Is there a way to control that?
Again, it's the same answer I gave before.
Okay.
You have transcendental experiences, they manifest through the 5 senses. Which one you have more developed, it will come. Some people are very auditive, you hear the om, you hear bells. Some people visual, some people mental. Again, come back to the same point. The work actually, if you are doing sadhana, if you are practicing, your energy is naturally going up. So your work is actually to bring it down.
Interesting.
It's the opposite, to bring it down. If you start seeing things and flashing lights and then shiny stars, and you see that you are tripping in your mind, go swim. See? Feel the power, feel the sun in your skin, feel your bones, feel your muscle, do your asanas, do your series, whatever you do, get a bicycle. Because then you are bringing down, you see? The whole thing is the sun and the heaven and the earth united in your heart, between the heart and the throat. That is where you want to come. So, if you are following the spiritual path, the yogic path, you are doing your sadhana, you are self-aware, you will very often feel these experiences, no? That you say is the awakening of Kundalini. I don't use this word. I don't like to say this. No, it's happening. It's you.
Energy.
Yeah, it's energy, it's you. And every time you feel that you are losing track, go back to earth. I do this a lot. It changed my life because I was like this also. I could stay 5 days thinking about the energies and the chakras and the Pleiades, and the beings of light and Shiva. Weeks thinking about this. But then the money finishes, you don't have money, you need a place to live, you need to move, you need to move your ass to do something to eat. So you are forced to go down because you have a stomach, and you need to feed your stomach. The stomach is very symbolic. Why human beings have a stomach? It's so primitive. Every 2-3 hours you need to put something inside. Why is that? To keep you grounded. You see? Why is it easy to be a monk in India? Because they get free food.
So they can stay in different states and explore.
Yeah, but they are not really in other states. Because if you have here in our world, in our part of the world, If you know there is a man or a woman, a family, for example, let's say, for example, a man or a woman, because many women can hear this. So this woman had 5 children. The husband left alone, and she educated all her children. They are all decent people. They are grown up adult. They are good people. And this woman is an old woman now, and she's content. She's happy. She's in peace. She has children, grandchildren. So this is an enlightened person. You see? And this woman knows nothing about India. Then you tell this woman that God is blue. She says, huh? Blue God? Huh? And then you tell this woman, no, it's because your Agna chakra is awake. She says, huh? So they don't know these things. So you see how it works. In the end, always come back to the basic. In the end, it's simplicity. And if you want, we can continue next week.
Okay.
If you wish.
I'll listen to the conversation again, and then we'll figure out if that's and it doesn't have to be next week. It could be next year.
Whatever. Yes.
Okay.
And then if you can tell me when you are going to publish it in your website, can we talk? Did you cut down what we are talking?
Yeah.
In the recording, I want to ask you if you can tell me when you are going to put your podcast, because I will put a link in my page, my website.
Perfect.
And we can talk so many things.
I know.
Then we see how it goes. Yeah, because there are other experiences I can tell. There are more things. It's just because I am looking now the time. We are 1 hour 40. Right. I need to.
And I'll post links to both of those websites that are on your email. And I'll also mention, I see you've written 2 different books, or have you written more?
Yeah, one more. But my books very few people read because I am not very good in promoting the things.
Well, that's what I'm offering you. That's what I'm offering you.
Yeah.
So is there one or 2 that you'd prefer I mention than others?
My novel. There is one book called Tommy Pilgrim.
Okay.
Which is a novel exactly describing this journey that I was telling you. It's a story of this guy who quit his job and went to India.
Okay.
And he met masters. And then I tell in a story. This is one that I have. Is in Amazon. $2.
I'll post links to that so that people can find it if they liked hearing what you had to say. I just wanted to ask you a quick question. Maybe this might just be off the record. Did you ever witness any things you would consider miracles when you're amongst these Swami?
You see, their work is through inspiration. It's not really something extraordinary that you see outside. It is a miracle. For me to be alive, it's a miracle already. And to see something like, wow, it's not important.
Well, I was reading the autobiography of a yogi, and there's many claims in there that are very miraculous. So
you know what is
Yeah,
but you know my theory about it. You are talking about autobiography of a yogi.
Yes.
No?
Yeah.
This book was written in the 60s, 1960, 59, 60, in Hollywood. He was living there, no? In Encinitas, in California. In that time, and he was building his community. He was getting people. He wanted people to come to him. And now, American people in the 60s, if you don't put flashing lights and colors, and if you don't say it's the best in the world, nobody comes.
Okay. So he's almost have
You,
theatrics to entice
you
people.
understand what I am saying? He needs to put some firework. He needs to make it magical. And in that time, it was fashion, no?
Yeah.
In that time, in that period, it was chic to have an Indian guru. It was cool.
Yeah.
So what I understand, he wrote in that poetic way to attract people. Now, I am not saying it didn't happen, but when those things happen, those miracles happen, only you see, nobody else sees. Yes, now that you say, it happened to me in moments where I saw, for example, I was looking at the picture of this saint, of this master that I love, and he was moving his mouth, he was blinking an eye to me, he was talking to me, but I knew it was only me who was seeing that thing.
Right.
And if I start thinking, is this true, is this not, then I miss the whole fun.
Yeah.
You see, so in the end, it's not important.
Yeah.
Now, I have seen teachers that you get close and your mind is quiet. Very quiet. You don't have any questions. You don't have any doubts. This is good. This is totally possible.
All right.
This is what really matters. If you are able to have a quiet mind, man, you are a master. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's truly as a monkey. Must be mastered. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your path with me and my audience. I think there's value in all of us speaking our truth and communicating to the yogic community at large.
I hope this can inspire other people to go deeper. No, the more people who you can share this, that is my final message. Go deeper. Practice, go deeper, and realize. That's it. Thank you so much. Namaste,
Thank you.
my
Namaste.
friend.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Humble Lighthouse podcast. If you enjoy these conversations, please go on iTunes or Google Play and rate and subscribe to this podcast. It helps with the algorithms and it helps people find us. And you can find more information about this show and past episodes at thehumboldtlighthouse.com. Thank you.